Hi there, my name's Ranjan Bhattacharya. I'm the event host for the Baker Street Property Meet. I'm with Paul Gailbraith, who's come down to our Baker Street Property Meet tonight. I've known Paul for many, many years. You've come down all the way from Leeds. That's a long way to travel.
Yes, well, it's getting quicker by the train, travelling that way. So I work while I'm travelling here and travelling back.
So why come all that way to this London meet?
Well, I used to come down to the property networking club run by Vanish, which is where we first met a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, over a decade those times, yeah.
It's going back. And I found that I learnt quite a lot down in London because there's a lot of innovation and it's very business orientated, which I could then apply some of those strategies up north and hopefully, not always, but hopefully be one step ahead of a lot of different people. And it's very network driven as well, the property meetings. It's about contacting people, and I find things are just better running a bit more professional down in the London area.
Well, there are going to be 200 people here tonight to networking with, so it's one of the biggest opportunities to meet like-minded professionals. And as you say, a lot of things happen. I think it's because of the property prices in London and the land values. That's why you get so much innovation in London, and just as the prices ripple out throughout the country, so do the strategies and the innovative approaches. But you're quite an old hand at property. You started investing when you were 19 years old. Now, teenagers don't often think about buying property. So what made you think about buying property when you were 19?
Well, at heart, I'm a jazz musician. And to live the life of a musician potentially means living the life of a pauper.
Yes.
So I thought, well, I don't want to, live a life like that. I do want some financial security. And I also had my music career threatened by some pretty serious repetitive strain injuries in my arm. And at that time, it was quite a dark time for me. I had a big rethink and I thought, well, I don't know what I want to do with my life if I can't play music. And one thing that did pop into my mind was I thought I need a roof over my head. So at that point I suggested to my mother, Mum, I'm working 4 jobs at the moment because I'm paying my way for a university because I was pretty much self-funded for most of that. Can I buy a house? She said no. So I went and got a 100% mortgage and didn't tell her. And then I bought my first property and refurbished that with a student loan. And then every time I got another student loan or a student overdraft, I just deposit money on another property in the rising market. And then I got to 5 houses by the time I was 22.
That's not bad at all, is it?
Well, it was interesting. I didn't drive at that point, so I was marching around from house to house, and I did smoke at that time, so I had a cigarette clamped in my mouth with a bed on my back, just walking about. And then it got to the point where I made a decision. I thought, well, do I go down this music route, which my hand's bad, or do I keep going down the property route and maybe I can outsource that at a future stage and get back into the music career, which is how things are starting to work now, actually. But one interesting thing about me is I remortgaged my 5th property to pay for my driving lessons.
Why, did you fail too many times?
Actually, it's interesting you say
that.
Passed
first time.
No, I did fail a few times, actually.
But I mean, one thing I've always liked about you is the way your mind, you're a very creative thinker, you like to do things out of the box, and we've all been hit with a plethora of changes in recent times, tax changes, and which means we have to restructure everything that we do. I know we've been having a lot of chats about the tax situation and how to cope with it, but can you share with people watching this how you feel it's changing the things you're going to be doing in the future?
Well, I think as well as the tax changes, we've got a lot more regulatory changes as well, and compliance changes. Such as Legionella's assessments and smoke alarm certificates, etc. I mean, I've been a good landlord. I've had mains-wide smoke alarms since 2006 because I'm council accredited. But now, obviously, it's compulsory for that. And one thing that with my properties, I was initially renting to housing benefit tenants because I bought in some rather interesting areas. And I tried the students as tenants, that didn't work. I tried low-paid professionals, that didn't work either. And then I went into the housing benefit sector, found a niche there, But then in 2014, I had quite a lot of houses trashed in that year by antisocial housing benefit tenants. It was 24 properties.
So 24 trashed?
Yeah, in 2014. Okay. And at that point, the stress it was just constantly getting hit in the face all the time. And with different issues, and we couldn't keep up with the maintenance and everything, and I was chasing my tail. And then getting ready for the changes with universal credit from local housing allowance, I thought something has to change.
So you got out of it, is it?
I didn't get out of it. I thought, well, I need to change something. So I approached a couple of organisations, housing associations and charities, and I said, would you be interested in subleasing my properties? I'd approached them years ago. They weren't interested at the time. But this time they were interested. And specifically, there was one organisation, they said that, yes, we would. We're desperate for one-bed units. So I said, OK. And yeah, I can accommodate that because I've got quite a lot of one-bed units with my properties. So I thought I'd give it a go. So I said, what are your client types? I take it as vulnerable people, maybe in some kind of supported housing.
What do you mean by vulnerable people?
Vulnerable people. That's people who maybe can't necessarily manage their own financial affairs.
Oh, I see. So they need a bit more social care as well
yes.
by the state, as well as just their housing benefit.
Exactly, yeah. There's some people who can't manage the financial affairs, some people who've got more mental health needs.
So that's the reason they lease the whole property from you, because the tenants aren't able to manage the tenancy themselves. Is that what's going on there? Pretty
much, yes. And the market that I seem to have found my niche in is the ex-convict market.
Oh, wow.
I made a judgment call. I had so many houses.
Do you meet all your tenants?
No, I'm a long-distance landlord now with that. But I found a niche with it because I had so many challenges with the housing benefit tenants that I thought, I'll take the risk and give it a go. And I really did have to think, right, am I dicing with a few issues here? And I've learned quite a few things. I mean, like the police hold the master key for all my houses.
Oh.
I've got a key safe on all of my properties, and all of my properties are registered with the police. So if they get a phone call, the key safe details flag up on the police system, and they don't have to do forced entry. So I've done a couple of things like that.
So is this model then of leasing the whole properties? It saves you a lot of time then, because they're taking the whole property?
Absolutely, yes. Well, I think
the rents you get are reasonable?
Well, a couple of things with that are bed sits specifically are a very good angle for working with that. I've got one building which it's worth about 100 grand, maybe about 110. I get 31,000 a year rent on that, so that's 31% yield. There's no capital growth in it. But
well, listen, I mean, you say about coming down to London. Most people down here will be salivating at figures like that.
Yes, yeah.
You won't catch those in the M25. Listen, we can go on for a long time.
We could, yeah.
And I know you're going to come back later on and you'll join us when to speak at one of our later sessions. But if you want to see some more of these videos, you can click on the bottom of this page. There are several more in conversation with interesting people in property. And you can come and meet people like Paul and others at Baker Street Property Meets. Tonight we've got 200 people coming. It's going to be a power networking event, some great talks as well. We do it every month. Check out what's happening at the next meet at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com. Bye for now.